Thank you so much for joining today. We will use a prop today for sure, a strap of some sort. And if you don't have a yoga strap, you can always use a belt, a tie, even a long skinny sock, just something that you can hold between your hands at least shoulder distance apart. We'll save that for a little bit later, but we'll go ahead and start by coming down into a constructive rest on the ground or a seat in our chair, depending on which variations you're choosing today. If you're taking the chair variation, go ahead and bring your spine back up against the back of the chair. And if you're on the ground, the soles of the feet are firmly planted about hip distance or maybe a little bit wider. And then allow the knees to start to come towards center. If that feels good, having slight internal rotation through the inner hip and groin. Wherever we're at, we'll allow our shoulders to start to relax. Maybe we'll close our eyes, or maybe we'll simply soften our gaze. We'll start to breathe more intentionally, letting our inhale be a little bit longer and our exhale start to smooth out. We'll then start to notice the surfaces our bodies are resting and supported by. Noticing where your body ends and those surfaces begin. We'll then begin to draw that same awareness, the air that's surrounding our body. As we notice the temperature, either on our skin, or maybe as we take our inhale. We'll then take that same awareness to detail. Start to go inward, noticing any sensations or energies throughout the body. Noticing any aches or pains in the muscles or joints. Not judging these things, but offering them our breath and a little bit of space and awareness in this moment. And today we're going to ask our bodies and our minds to see if we can take a break from trying to figure everything out. Oftentimes, we just need to give our minds and bodies a break, to rest in stillness or silence. Sometimes trying to solve all our problems or answer all the questions can become too much. The world and its problems, mixed with our problems, can become too heavy to carry. So can we give ourselves rest when it's needed? Our problems can wait. They'll be there when we can come back. See if today you can give your thinking mind some time off. Maybe sometime this week, take a moment to walk in nature. To close your eyes. To listen to the sounds around you. To smell the world. To feel your feelings. letting the mind take a break and rest as you do. As we unhook from our thinking mind, can you feel your feet on the ground and sense your body, sense your breath, maybe even feel your heartbeat. We'll then start to take our breathing exercise for today, seeing if we can allow our focus to come onto the function of the breath. Again, letting that thinking mind have some stillness. We'll breathe in through our nose if it's available, breathing out through the nose. We'll allow our tongue to rest gently towards the top of our mouth as we start to constrict the back of our throat, finding our ocean breath, our Darth Vader breath, or our Ujjayi breath, depending on which name you like to connect with. We'll fog up a mirror on our exhale. That mirror we're held directly below our nose. Letting a slightly audible sound on the exhale. This breath not only allows our body to come into a state of relaxation, but it also builds a little bit of heat throughout the body. So taking just 2 or 3 more rounds of this ocean breath. And then allow your breathing to return to its natural flow. And feel free to call back on that ocean breath throughout our practice whenever you need to find a little heat or maybe relax into a pose. So as we take our last few moments of our grounding meditation, we'll take a moment to offer ourselves just a little bit of gratitude. Thanking ourselves for taking time out of our busy week, connecting in a silent place of safety with ourselves. When you're ready, begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Flutter the eyes open. If you're on the floor in a constructive rest, take your knees so they're separate. And then if you're seated in the chair, come on up to the edge of your seat. So that way you have just a little bit of room between you and your space. We're going to start to hug the right knee in towards our torso. And you can hold it with your hands or with that strap if you just are ready to get that strap involved with our practice today. If you're seated on the floor, we're going to start to lengthen, or if you're laying on the floor, we're just going to start to lengthen our other foot, our left leg, up towards the ceiling. And if you're taking your variations from a chair, we're going to slide our leg out long so that we're pointing the toes away from us, but we're still resting that foot on the floor. And let's all take a few point and flexes with our extended leg. pointing and flexing through the toes and the ankles. And then find some stillness on that leg and ankle. We'll take our opposite ankle, the one that we have hugged in towards our chest. And we'll start to take ankle roots, rolling in one direction. And then the other. Great job. Now, if you're seated in the chair, take and hold behind the leg, either on the leg with a strap or with your arm. We'll start to extend that leg out in front of you. Now you can extend it with a half bend or really straight. And if you're on the ground, you're gonna bring that leg up to meet the other one. So now we're lifting both legs up for just a moment. And then as we exhale, we're gonna switch sides. So if you're on the chair, go ahead and drop that leg down to the ground. Begin to hug the opposite knee in, get that compression. And then we'll all start to point and flex our extended second side. All right, and then pause, and we'll take circles with our bent knee, ankle. And then reverse. Inhale to extend the opposite leg. Great job. Now with our exhale, we're gonna curl into a ball, whether you're seated in the chair or on the floor. If you're in the chair, your heart's coming down towards your knees are coming up towards your torso. And if you're on the ground, you're bringing both knees in towards the chest. In whichever variation, you can rock a little side to side, massaging back or glutes. All right, let's go ahead and find a little bit of stillness, and then we'll allow the soles of the feet to rest on the floor in constructive rest or seated mountain. Let's go ahead and take the left leg and we're going to cross it over the right leg. Now you're welcome to cross it at the ankles or the knees. So we come into an eagle variation here. You're welcome to keep those feet on the floor if you're taking a floor version, or you bring them up to about table height. And then we'll take our arms wide. With our next exhale, we're going to bring the right arm under the left arm, giving ourselves a little bit of a hug. Walking your hands along your arms towards your shoulders, noticing how that feels. We come into our first eagle variation of the night. And then with our next exhale, release, letting the arms open and uncrossing the legs. All right, let's take our eagle variation on the other side, crossing right leg over left, again, either at ankles or knees, sending the arms out wide, and then left arm comes under right as we hug towards our shoulders and walk the fingertips back, allowing our shoulder blades to spread apart. Beautiful job. Our next inhale, open up wide, and then we're going to find a shoelace pose. So we'll uncross, we'll go back to our first side. Again, we're going to cross at ankles or knees. But the goal here is to get our feet going in the opposite direction. So your right foot is going to walk over to the left side, and you're trying to get your hips going in while your feet are going out in the opposite direction. You're taking this from the back. You're always welcome to bring your hands onto your legs at any point. Maybe draw the heels down towards your hips. And again, that cross might be at the ankles or anywhere till the knees. Wonderful shoelace pose. All right, go ahead and uncross the legs. And then we'll take our shoelace towards the other side. Beautiful job. All right, exhale to unwind. Inhale to roll into your ball. Maybe head lifts off the floor if you're taking the floor version. Chin comes to chest. And then with our next exhale, we'll find a butterfly pose, letting the soles of the feet come together as the knees open wide. You can bring your hands to rest on your body. You can rest alongside, or maybe circle around, interlacing the fingers to support the back of the head as the elbows open up wide. Now you're always welcome to add a block or two under the knees as well. Great job. Now, wherever the arms are, we'll all inhale and start to lift our arms up and overhead. And then with our next exhale, grab opposite wrist, opposite hand, maybe even opposite elbow. We're going to feel that lengthening through our torso. And then with our next exhale, we're going to start to lean over towards the right side. If you're on the mat, lift your shoulders and walk them over to the other side. Taking a side bend here. If you're seated in the chair, you're going to be leaning gently. We don't want to fall out of our chair here. Great job. Inhale through center. Exhale over to the left. Inhale to come through center. And with our exhale, we'll circle the hands down, allowing them to come down by our knees, pushing our knees back together. Seated mountain or constructive rest. And then we'll find our way up into a standing position in our own time, in our own way. Again, feel free to take maybe a drink of water, take any movement you need on your way up. We'll come into our mountain pose. And stand tall. Our next inhale, let's circle arms up, reach them up really high. And then with our next exhale, I want you to circle the hands down by the lower back. Maybe interlacing fingers, maybe grabbing opposite wrists or opposite elbows, maybe just grabbing your shirt, or maybe grabbing that strap in between your hands. But wherever you're at, we're going to draw our knuckles down towards the floor. We're going to lift our heart. We're going to lift our gaze. Notice how that feels through your body. And then with our next exhale, begin to bend through the knees, sink into the hips as you come into a forward fold. Now you can always keep your hands on your hips and start to lift your hands off of your hips, moving into the shoulders just a little bit. Or if you want a little bit more stability, drop your hands to your proper choice. We'll take one more breath in whichever forward fold variation you've chosen. And then with your exhale, allow your hands to drop if they were lifted towards your hips. And then on our next inhale, we're going to halfway lift, figure 7, gaze stays down, thighs are lengthened. Exhale, hinge into your fold. Bend the knees deeply, sink the hips, roll up to tall mountain. We're going to pause there. Exhale, grab opposite hand, wrist, elbow, or again, maybe that strap's in between your hands. As we exhale, we lean right elbow towards the right side of the floor. Inhale back through center. Exhale to the left. Inhale back through center. Exhale, cactus, look up. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, take your bind behind the back, switch it up, take the funny grip. Knuckles down, heart lifts. Exhale, slow hinge into your forward fold. Hands maybe lift. Noticing if it feels any different on this side than it did on the other side. Exhale to release hands towards hips if they're not already. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, tall mountain. Switch your grip, but take it towards opposite elbows. Lean towards the left, but kick the hips to the right. Back through center. Lean to the right, kick the hips to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale, cactus the arms. And then we'll end by pulling our hands together at a prayer at heart center. Beautiful flow there. All right. Let's come into our mountain pose. And we'll send our left foot back into warrior one. Let the toes be out to the side with the heels slightly in. Turning your hips forward as you start to bend deeply into that front knee. You're always welcome to keep your hands on a prop, or maybe bring them to a prayer, or maybe start to lift them high into the air. Take a moment to check in with your foundations. Make sure that you're not wobbly here, but that you're making enough space for your body. And then with your next exhale, let's take our left hand to our back hip. And then maybe even start to slide it down the back leg. That front hand can stay on your prop, or maybe lift up overhead as we reverse our warrior one. Inhale, bring that left hand forward for warrior one. And then with our exhale, we're going to revolve our warrior. So we're going to take our right hand, the same one as our front leg. We're going to take it back to our hip. Now you're always welcome to keep that hand just on the hip and begin to twist at the shoulder. Or if you'd like to drop the hand towards the back leg, you're welcome to reach towards the back leg or maybe make contact with the back leg. And the left arm swoops over towards the right side of the room. But be mindful to keep a bend in that front knee. Great job. Inhale to come back to your warrior one. Straighten both legs. And then let's start to bring that back leg in. Great job. All right, let's take that sequence on the other side. Step left, right foot back. Warrior one. Exhale, bend into that front knee. Anytime we're in these lunging positions, we want to be mindful that we're pulling our thighs towards our torso, keeping our belly button pulled back towards our spine, really making this strong in our lower body. Beautiful job. Let's take our right hand to our right hip, slide it down the back leg, reversing our warrior one. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, revolve, bringing left hand to left hip, sliding it over to the right, and maybe down towards the leg, or simply pointing towards the leg as we lift that right hand over to the left side of the room. Beautiful job. Inhale, warrior one. Straighten both legs, pop the back foot in. Beautiful job. All right, from here, we're gonna step to the side one again, stepping the left foot back. Now we're in a high lunge. We're bending in both knees. We keep that back heel lifted. Again, your hands might be on a prop, a prayer, or lifted up alongside the ears in a crescent lunge. Notice how this feels, squeezing those sides, engaging through the core. And then with our next exhale, I want us to lean from our torso at about a 45-degree angle. And then if the hands are lifted, swoop them back by your hips in an airplane variation. If you're using your hands on a prop, you could begin to bend them, but keep them planted to support you as you lean forward. So we'll take this for just a few swings, inhaling to come up, exhaling to lean and swoop. Inhaling up, maybe coming back to that Darth Vader breath, building a little heat in your body tonight. You're doing great. Next, inhale, pause in your crescent lunge variation. And then with our exhale, we're gonna twist the arms out to a T as we twist towards the front leg. The left hand is gonna come forward, the right hand is gonna come back. And then you can stay here, you can hold on to a prop, or begin to drop that back hand and lift the front hand, revolving your crescent lunge. Inhale to bring it back. Straighten both legs, pop the back foot in. Great job. We'll take that on the other side. Stepping right foot back. Inhale. Crescent lunge of your choice. Take your time. Make sure your foundation is strong. And then getting back into our Darth Vader breath as we exhale, we hinge and lean. Swooping the arms maybe. Inhale to rise up tall. Take it at your own pace with your breath. Last time, inhaling up. Exhaling, twisting to the left, the arms go wide. And then staying here, or maybe dropping that back hand towards the back leg. Inhale to bring it back. Straighten both legs, step it in. Beautiful job here. For our next breath, we're gonna turn to the side of our space, taking the feet out really wide here. We'll go ahead and we'll grab that strap, keeping it close by. As we take the toes out and the heels in. And then let's take a breath into 5-pointed star, taking arms up and out into opposite directions. Reaching toes and fingers away from each other. And then bring the toes in line with the heels as we hinge from the hips. We'll pause at the halfway lift for just a breath. And then our exhale, we drop into the forward fold. Let's take an inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to sink and fold. Inhale to halfway lift, pause and hold. And then take those arms out wide. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Great job. Go ahead and bring the hands to the hips and step it in just about a foot or so. So that way you're still wide, but not quite as wide. And we're gonna grab that strap. We're gonna take our strap overhead. We're gonna bring it about shoulder distance apart. And we're gonna begin to pull those hands away from each other, really activating through our shoulders, shoulder blades, quads and traps. And as we continue to pull this, we're gonna start to drop the strap either behind our head or in front of our face till we get to our lowest point as we simultaneously start to squat into the legs. On our inhale, we'll come back up. Take this at your own pace. Feel free to find that Ujjayi breath once more. Great job. Inhale to come up. And then you can keep your hands at shoulder distance, or you can widen them out if that would feel better for you. But then at our next exhale, we're going to drop the hands over to the right side, stretching through the left side body. Inhale through center, drop through the left hand. Now, if this feels really good through your torso, you are welcome to continue to just go left and right, exploring, stretching through your abdominals from side to side. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper, the next time your right hand comes down, start to bend into the right knee as well, one-legged squat. Inhale through center, bend into the left knee as the left hand comes down. Either way, whether you're taking upper body only or both lower and upper body, taking it at your pace as you go left to right. Great job. Last time on both sides. Inhale through center. And exhale, let's give those shoulders a break. Let the arms come down. Step the feet into your mountain pose. Great job. All righty, we're gonna come back into our mountain pose. We'll inhale, circle arms up and overhead. Exhale, take the bind behind the back. Let the knuckles drop, the heart raises. Exhale, hinge into your forward fold. Maybe hands stay at hips, maybe they lift off. Exhale, hands come to hips. Inhale, we'll halfway lift. We're going to pause at our halfway lift as we explore some movement through our feet and ankles here. And as we inhale, I want us to lift both heels, bending at the knees, and sink the hips down towards the heels into a toe stand of your sorts. And then with our inhale, we're going to press back into our hands, lifting our hips, letting our heels come back flat as we balance in our forward fold. We're going to take this rolling through our feet at our own pace. Inhaling to come into your toe stand and exhaling to hinge into your forward fold. Take it at your pace. Beautiful job. Last time we end in our forward fold. Inhale, roll up to tall mountain, circling arms overhead. We'll grab towards our opposite elbow, hand or wrist, or take that strap between the hands. You can either take any of the variations we've taken already, or maybe this time stepping that left foot back just about a foot and coming onto the ball of your foot. And then as we exhale, we lean to the right. Inhale through center, step it forward, switch sides. Exhale to lean to the left. Beautiful. Inhale to come through center. Exhale the cactus. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale behind your back bind, but switch to the grip. Exhale, hinge into your forward fold. Inhale, half, or inhale, hands lift, if that's part of your practice. Exhale, hands release towards hips. Inhale, halfway lift. Beautiful. Now, if you're taking floor poses from your halfway lift, we'll bend the knees, we'll plant the palms coming into a tabletop. And then come down onto your belly, bringing hands under your shoulders and forehead down to the ground. If you're taking our standing poses, we have a couple of options. You can always come to a wall, mimicking the floor with the wall. Or if you like staying with just your chair, you can come stand as close to behind your chair. Wherever we're at, our hands are about shoulder distance apart. We're going to begin to press into our hands as we lift the forehead off the wall, off the floor, or towards the ceiling, taking ourselves into a cobra. You're on the ground. It's a baby cobra. If you lifted your hands, you'd be able to hold the position. Exhale, lower forehead down towards the mat and or towards the wall. Go ahead and slide the hands down by the hips. If you're on the floor or on the wall, and if you're on your chair, just come around to the edges of that chair so that your hands are palms face away from you. Now with this next inhale, we're going to start to lift the forehead away from our prop, coming back into our cobra of choice. And maybe you start to lift the hands away from the floor, the wall, or the chair, almost like that airplane arms. Great job. Exhale, bring everything back down. Our next inhale gives us the option of lifting our feet if we're on the floor. And if you're taking any of the standing variations, repeat your last variation. As we inhale, we lift forehead, hands, and maybe this time feet. Beautiful back bending. Exhale to release into your belly or under your straight spine. And then if we're on the floor, we're going to push up into a tabletop pose. And if you're taking standing poses, we're going to actually come down into our seat for this next one, as we're going to take a pigeon variation. You're on the floor in tabletop. We'll bring our right knee behind our right wrist and then walk the foot over to the left side of the mat. Start to send your left leg back long behind you. And you can either stay high on the hands or walk them back behind the hips. Or you could come onto the elbows or onto a prop in a sleeping pigeon. You're taking your pigeon variation from a seat, we'll come into a figure 4, bringing that right ankle either to the knee or the outer edge of the foot on the floor or a prop, but allowing that right hip to open up. Now, again, just like from the floor version, you can keep your spine tall, or if you want to start to drop your heart a little closer to your flexed foot, you're more than welcome to do that as well. We notice what's happening on that outer hip there as we take this beautiful pigeon pose. And maybe we start to find a soft Darth Vader breath, not one aimed at building the heat of movement, but instead one that lets us soften and deepen into the stretch just a little bit more. We came down onto elbows or hinging forward. We'll come back up to a lengthened spine and we'll move back the same way we came into the pose as we come out of it. And then let's switch sides, taking it into the left hip and glute. Taking our time, setting up our foundation, and then maybe taking that deeper hinge forward with the chest into a sleeping or resting pigeon or figure four. Sinking into that ocean breath. Soft constriction of the throat, tongue resting gently at the top of the mouth, and just a slight audible sound on your exhale through the nose. Beautiful job. To come out of our pigeon pose, we'll come into a seated staff. So if you're on the floor, allow your left hip to come down to the ground, swinging your legs in front of you in whatever way feels the most comfortable for you. Whether seated in a chair or on a prop or on the floor, we're sending our legs long. They can always have a bend or start to press through the heels to work them straight. We'll inhale to shoot the arms up and maybe grabbing our strap as we exhale, hinging over our legs, wrapping it around our toes as we hinge into our forward fold. Your next inhale, we'll start to hug the right knee in towards our chest. And let's point and flex the feet simultaneously here. Great job. Go ahead and find stillness through the ankles. Grab behind the right leg and send it towards the sky in a heron pose or out in front of you in any way. And have a little bend or work it straight. And then slowly allow that foot to come down towards the ground. Inhale, bringing in the opposite side. This time we'll take some circles with our ankles. And then reverse them. Inhale, heron's pose. Really keep your spine straight. Exhale to release. Great job. From here, we're going to bend that left leg and let the inner foot come into the inner thigh, letting the knee open to the side. You're seated in the chair, you're going to have your right leg long and your left one out to the side and bent. As we inhale, we're going to lengthen the spine, but twist towards our extended leg. And as we exhale, we're going to lean over that leg. Great job. Inhale to come back through a straight spine, switch sides. Inhale, twist towards the extended leg. Exhale, hinge and fold over it. Great job. Let's inhale, come back to a straight spine. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor, about hip distance apart. Let your hands rest behind you on the floor or on your chair. Begin to windshield wiper the knees, rolling from left to right. Beautiful job. Alrighty, for our last variation, we can come into a legs up the wall or a reclined butterfly. It's up to you what would feel best in your body in this moment. If you're choosing a legs up the wall, you bring your hips as close to whatever surface. It doesn't necessarily have to be a wall. It could be your chair, a couch, or anything nearby. You can keep the feet together. You could open them wide, or even here on the wall, you could find that reclined butterfly. If you're taking chair poses, it doesn't preclude you from legs up the wall. We just need to bring our legs onto something that's a little higher than our heart would be in our reclined position. And I like to put something behind my torso for more support. Now, as we settle into this pose, we can hold it for just a few short breaths during our restorative practice, or we can always know that we can settle in here for our final resting pose as well. So if you're choosing to stay here for a little bit longer, maybe adding a few pillows, blankets, or anything else that you might like to hold. And as we settle into legs up the wall or reclined butterfly, maybe you allow your eyes to close once again. Maybe you allow your breath to be your focus. You try not to fix anything, but simply let your body rest here for the moment. We'll allow each breath to make our body melt or grow heavier into the surfaces that are supporting it. As we relax each muscle, if we notice any tension there, purposefully scanning through the entire body, relaxing muscle by muscle. You're going to want to come down out of legs up the wall for your final resting pose. You can choose to do so now or at any other point throughout this final meditation. We'll find our way into whatever final resting pose is calling to us in this very moment. Again, feeling free to add pillows, blankets, or sweaters, and really just allowing yourself whatever comfort that would feel like stillness and rest in this moment. Wherever we're at, we'll take a deep breath in. And then with intention, we'll transition inward. Sometimes I have to tell myself not to be afraid of the silence. Sometimes when in the presence of another being, I find myself trying to fill moments of silence with unnecessary words, as if silence is something to be avoided. I used to view silence as a sign that the connection with the other person wasn't as strong, or that there was something wrong. But I'm learning that there is power and beauty in silence. When beings are so comfortable with each other that no words need to be spoken, now that's connection. If discomfort arises in the midst of any silence, meet that discomfort with inquiry and kindness, savoring the spaces between words and sense the beauty there. Can you see moments of silence as a gift, where no words are needed, and that your presence is more than simply enough? Take a moment to check in with your body, with your mind, and even with your emotions. And notice how they feel in this moment. And then we'll begin to listen to each cycle of breath as one segment of time. Breathing in, breathing out. One. Inhale. Exhale. Two. You will most assuredly notice sensations, thoughts, sounds, and feelings. They'll stroll through your mind like clouds in the sky. Maybe even images. But within a cycle of breath, can you acknowledge that there was a message without becoming attached? And draw your focus back to your breath. At first, this might be so hard to do. Your mind may race to the future or to the past, creating bigger stories, creating conflict, completely unaware of your current reality, which is simply that you are resting, breathing. As you come in back into your body, maybe you whisper it to yourself. I am resting, breathing. As you feel your breath, remember that you are simply resting. As your mind strays, remind yourself of your current reality. Inhale by exhale. You will find your mind giving in to the rhythms of your breath, and fewer thought clouds will stroll through the horizon of your mind. I am resting, breathing. At first, maybe only brief moments of your current reality might win your mind's attention. No, your mind hasn't become more thoughtful or even chaotic. You're simply bringing your awareness to how your mind is all the time. Breathing in, breathing out. Noticing your thoughts as a thought, and then returning your focus to your breath is a sign of making progress and learning to be in the beauty of your silence. I am laying, breathing in, breathing out. Beautiful job today. We'll take the deepest breath of our day so far. As we let go of the silence, we start to wiggle our fingers and toes. We take any movement or roll down from our legs up the wall if we were still up there. And then in our own time, in our own way, we start to make ourselves come up to an upright position facing me. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great week ahead of you and that you find time to find beauty in the silences of your life. Thank you so much.